When the internet first came to our house in the early 1990s, so far as I could tell, the internet was inside a box. That's a quote from John Green Letters on a Black Screen. John Green's experience of the internet feels, despite the 20-year difference between he and I, very similar to my own, and I think I can point out why by this particular quote later in this essay when Green is describing the earliest memes on the CompuServe teen forum he participated in, saying, by using ASC2 art turning text characters into shapes, like this, it had been around for decades, but we hadn't been around for decades, and so we felt like we were discovering it as we built everything from extremely simple images. I have seen people argue about which daylight savings time solution is the correct solution like clockwork upwards of hundreds of times. It's not a new argument for some people, because new people are always discovering the internet. And while the internet remains, as Green described, primarily a forum for talking about the internet, it's also a forum for life. Being born in '96, I was just young enough to experience online forums in that special pre-YouTube time in internet history where you had to look pretty damn hard to find good things on the internet, but I did find them. But even more valuable than this, I found ideas too, and suddenly I had a new persona. This online person, Lumos Jared, was cooler than Jared. He read weird philosophies he'd never learned about in school, he created basic pixel art in his spare time, and he spent far too many hours playing browser games and obsessing over Newgrounds. He waited for planes to go overhead so he could continue recording. But he was more himself than Jared was in his day-to-day, and as he grew up, at some point, the two became indistinguishable. Green has experience here too. And paradoxically, because they didn't know me, they knew me far better than anyone in my real life. I told my CompuServe friend about the night feeling. The night feeling was my private name for the wave that crashed over me most school nights when I got into bed. My stomach would tighten and I'd feel the worry radiating out from my belly button. Green's heart was racing as he typed this to a friend, but that friend, Mary, knew the feeling. And she found comfort by listening to her clock radio. Green tried that, and it helped. But it goes beyond the very personal, and this quote brings that across. We shared inside jokes and learned, built, borrowed, created together. This sentence describing that forum hit me like a ton of bricks. What is the internet if not a communal remix of everything? What are ROM hacks, an idea only the internet could house in the way it has, if not beautiful? What are remixes? What is this video series if not learning, building, borrowing, and creating together? I know it's popular to hate the internet, to focus on the truly problematic systemic issues of the modern internet, and they shouldn't be ignored nor the work needed put aside. And yet, I love the internet. But I am weird. I also loved high school, even though a bunch of not great things happened to me during it. John Green's friend had a quote on this, speaking on high school. It saved my life, but it also did a lot of other things. So too with the internet, Green adds, but so too with what we have now, where the internet is life and life is the internet. Green ends this essay with the first line of a Wordsworth poem that begins, "The world is too much with us, late and soon." But it's later in that same poem that I find the answer to what I rate the internet on a 5-star scale. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn, have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. John Green finishes his thoughts with, when you are living in the middle of history, you never know what it means. I am living in the middle of the internet. I have no idea what it means. But we are not in the middle. We are still at the beginning, as difficult as that can be to imagine. And there's still a lot of the internet left to shape. Not into shapes with lines of text, but shaping how we see each other and the world with every comment, video, meme, or rating posted. Make things accordingly. I give the internet, in spite of everything, 5 stars. Because, spoiler alert, I give us, the Anthropocene, in spite of everything, 5 stars. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on Friday.
A computer is an educational device. It is in fact a direct reflection of your own imagination, your own intelligence, your own programming skills. And once you are given the freedom in which to create things and to see the immediate response on the screen, then it becomes a very enjoyable experience. You go on to involve yourself in many other things.